In this episode, you'll be tuning into a session with Sabreen, where we delve into several challenges she has faced in the past with her accent, including distinguishing specific letters from sounds, voiced versus voiceless sounds, and so much more. Plus, Sabreen will share some practical advice that'll help you improve your speech clarity and accuracy. I promise that you'll learn a lot today. I'm Bianca, your personal American accent coach, and I'm here to help you master an American accent in English because your voice is your choice when it comes to how you sound. I try to release a podcast episode every 2 weeks, and so you should really subscribe to whatever podcast platform you use so that you don't miss the newest episode. Now, let's get on with the show. Sabreen, welcome so much, and thank you for agreeing to come on today. I'm really excited to help you, but first, can you tell our audience a little bit about you? Can you tell us, for example, how should we say your name correctly? How do you want it said? Where are you living? Where are you originally from? What do you do in life? Give us a little introduction about you.
Okay. So first of all, I am Sabreen. That's an Arabic name. It comes from the word sabr, which means patience. And my name is the plural of sabr, which is one patient man. Sabreen means those who have patience.
You must have the patience of 10 men then. Right?
Exactly.
Or 10 women,
100.
even better. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 men, women is equal to 100 men. I agree with that. So I am actually originally from Sudan. Both my parents are from there, but I was born in Moscow, Russia. Actually, my first language was Russian, but I forgot it. And then I learned Arabic from like people around me. And then I lived in many places. Like I lived in Egypt, Yemen, Dubai. Now I reside in Canada, specifically Toronto. And I work as an instructor therapist for autistic children. I just do therapy for them, depends on what the child needs and their diagnosis. It's a case by case basis. I'm also a writer. And I just started a podcast. Yay.
Yay!
Yes, I'm here with you to help me with this accent situation.
That is awesome. So really, English has been a part of your life basically since forever, right? Before we get into that, I see some stories there and I want to go fishing a little bit. So you were born in Moscow. There's got to be a story there, number one. Number two, you were speaking Arabic in Moscow, or had your family already moved when you were a child and you grew up speaking Arabic somewhere else?
No, here's the story. My dad, he did his undergrad leading to PhD in Moscow. He had a scholarship. And he got married while doing his, I think, after his master's. And then my parents were living there when my mom got pregnant and gave birth to me in Russia. And I grew up like from a couple of months old to a couple of years old. And when I started speaking, because I would always go to daycare and they had daycares at such a young age. And my parents were renting from this Russian lady who loved me so much, even though she was like, I have a picture, Bianca, in the daycare. Everyone is white and blonde except me. It's such a cute picture. I wish I can find it one day. Okay. It was like me sitting there and they put me in the middle. It's so funny. I love it. So the Russian lady who rented my parents the place loved me so much. She used to tell people that I am her grandchild and she would take me around. So I picked up the actual native Russian language from the kids and that lady. And when I go back home with my parents, no one would understand me. Of course, those are stories I don't actually remember. My parents told me. No one was able to communicate with me. My dad or mom always had to translate. But after my brother was born there, they moved. Like his PhD ended and he didn't want to work there. He wanted to find other places. So that because when I moved to Sudan, as a child, you need to survive. Everyone was speaking to me in Arabic and that's it. But then my mom went back to Sudan and then my father was looking for jobs around. It's common for Sudanese people to look for opportunities outside of their countries. I don't know. It's a status. It's better. At that time, things were not as bad as now, but it's common for them to look somewhere else. And my dad is a type of person who likes adventure. Hence, we traveled a lot. And eventually, let's go from this story to how I started English. Sudan, they start teaching us English as a second language in grade 5. I took the letters A, B, C, D in grade 5, and then I started learning pen, window, door, stuff like that. And we didn't get into grammar or like past and those stuff. Like the focus in Sudan is on grammar and not the language. Also
Mm.
because we are taught by a teacher who was taught by a teacher by like the original person who speak actual native is
Mhm.
far far away. So
Mm.
even the teacher has an accent. Even the
Yeah.
teacher would say things like, in Sudanese accent we can't, because even in Arabic we can't pronounce this letter, which is the or
Mhm.
tha. We have
Mhm.
this letter tha,
Right.
but the equivalent is the, like the
Mhm.
th,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Another word would be the word world, which is very difficult, but in Sudan we would say world.
Uh-huh. Because it's a really difficult consonant cluster. And especially if you were taught that way, you wouldn't question that. And
No.
it's funny that you mentioned the TH for two reasons. Number one, by the time this podcast episode comes out, it will be already finished. But every month I do for 1 hour, once at the end of the
Mm,
month, on a specific sound. And this month is going to be the TH sound. And the funny thing is that most languages don't have anything very close to it. But you look at
mm,
Arabic, and most dialects of Arabic, they have the sound and they have a th, and they have the both versions of it. They have the th and they have the th. So coming from
yeah.
one of the only languages besides Greek and let's say Castilian Spanish, that's one of the only languages that at least already has that sound, which is really difficult to pronounce.
If you met someone from the Gulf area,
Yeah.
or who else pronounced this?
I think in the
Man,
Levant, like in Palestine,
Levant.
Jordan, that
Yes,
area,
yes, yes,
Syria,
yes,
yeah.
yes. I was looking for the Levant word. Yes, the Levant word, they speak it, but in Sudan, in our language, we don't pronounce the and
Uh-huh.
tha. Those two letters, we don't pronounce it in our accent,
What do you say
right?
instead? More like a D or a Z? What
S-
happens there? Oh, like
s-
more like an S, like a
like
Z maybe?
the
Uh-huh.
tha would be
Uh-huh.
s.
So if you look at a person, let's say from Spain, they have it and they do it. And you look at a
Mm,
person from Mexico, same language, right? It's still Spanish. They do the same thing. They
mm,
don't have the TH in the same way. And I
mm.
didn't know specifically that Sudanese, that dialect, it was one that didn't do the TH. So here I am thinking like, oh,
Mm.
you're so lucky. But no, sorry about that. But when
No.
you're in Egypt, they do the TH, right?
I don't think they do. I don't
Oh,
think they
okay.
do. They
Uh-huh.
don't have it. That area, I don't think they have it. No. Like Sudan, Libya, Chad, those are all people who speak Arabic. Also, like, oh, but you don't have those two. I don't know if you know the sound qa and ra.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I told you, I lived in Jordan for about 5 years.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So I have
Yeah.
some Arabic, shway, but it's been a
Right.
long time. I do know that some of those sounds are the same, and some of them are not the same in English, but they might be similar to something like in French or something. That makes me think like you, with all your travel, with all your exposure, you would think, oh, your English is great, right? This is always the medium of communication. But
Mm.
when that happens, somebody is just busy living life, you know? So they don't have time to go back and fix some mistakes or whatever. You get by and you do great. I do the same thing in Spanish. Like, I get by, I'm okay, but I don't have
Yeah.
time to go back and fix those mistakes. So is that kind of where you are now? You're saying like, okay, now it's time to clean this stuff up because now I have my podcast and there's a good reason for you to be motivated right now. Is that kind of where you're at?
Yes. First of all, I have to tell you that I studied all my life, like the undergrad in English, because I went to med school. So English was necessary. Also, I made the travel in a school from Sudan to Dubai. And in Dubai, they teach English. I didn't live in Dubai. I was
Yeah,
in Abu
yeah.
Dhabi. And they teach English from, I think, kindergarten, I think. So my dad forced me to sit down and study all of it. I sat for 6 months revising words, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
There were times where I dedicated myself to English. I had to do TOEFL too.
And that's a lot of studying at a very high level.
Yeah, at a very high
Yeah.
level. And by the time I was doing the test, I was fed up. I was like, that's it. This is my English. I accept it. You know what I mean?
And at that
I was
time, that's
like,
what you needed because you had to
that's
finish the test and that's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
In the last grade, I was in grade 12, and they did this test which called SIBA, in which in that test we had to memorize over 5,000 words, and they were not hard words. And then the test itself, it was similar to TOEFL, so they didn't want the locals there to go to TOEFL or IELTS, so they made a version. You know how Canada have Kale?
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
a version just for them. Yeah.
yes, a version just for that country. And so I did that, and that helped
Mm.
me. So I was studying English as a subject, and I had to score good to get like the good GPA to go to medical school. So
Yeah.
English was a mandatory thing for me. And by the time I was here in Canada, I had to do presentation in medical school and everything. So by the time I was here, I was not bad. It's just the accent, people
Yeah.
understanding me.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
then it just occurred to me that I'm saying some words wrong and no one knows. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't don't even know because those are the people who grew up speaking English
Uh-huh.
and I
Uh-huh.
did not. So I was like, okay, no worries, I will learn. And I just learned by listening and
Yep. Yep.
saying things.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually impressed because I did the teaser for my podcast,
Yeah.
and you know how the program would write what you say,
Oh, like an
and
AI program?
yes, it would just write what you say, but
Hmm.
it understood me. So
Yeah.
I was like, thank God,
Yeah.
I'm not that far.
Yes. That's always a good
I'm not
litmus
that
test. If the AI
far.
understands me, if that understands me, I'm pretty good. And you can see your mistakes
Yes,
in there too. And
yes.
I bet that when you were in medical school, you had this thing happen. It happens to a lot of people where you read a word and maybe it's like a high level word or medical jargon or something. You read this word and you're like, okay, this is how I'm going to pronounce it right now. We'll see. And then you read it 100,000 times and you've decided that's the pronunciation in your brain, even though you've never heard the word before. And then
Mhm,
suddenly
mhm.
somebody says it at a conference or wherever, and you're like, wait, is that how you say it? I've been saying it differently this whole time. Who's right? I don't know. Has that happened to you?
My brain, yeah. Yes, the word
Mm.
insomnia. I
Hmm?
used to say I don't remember. It was is isomnia or
Uh-huh.
something. It was like that in my brain. It
It was
was even more
stuck.
embarrassing.
Yes.
No one said it in front of me. I was asking a question and I said, "Oh, this is one of the side effects." Blah 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 blah. And everyone was like, "Do you mean insomnia?"
Oh
And I was
no. Oh no.
like,
That's so embarrassing. Yes. I do the same thing in Spanish. I'll mix the letters up or I'll put the syllables in the wrong order or stress the wrong syllable sometimes. And sometimes people don't tell you. Even if you ask them, "Hey,
"Mhm,
please correct me." No, they
mhm."
sometimes they don't. And then that one time, of course, you've got like an audience of
And they
bosses and
just
things.
like, "Do you
Yeah.
mean this?" I don't mind being corrected. I really don't mind, but it's the
Mm.
intention behind the correction,
Yes. Are you
right?
doing this
It's
to embarrass me or are you doing this to help me? There is a big difference
exactly
there.
huge difference because
Mm-hmm.
I did my undergrad in Ottawa and when I landed in Toronto. Have you been to
Uh-huh.
Canada?
I have been to Toronto, actually. Yes, several times.
Okay.
Hmm.
So when you land in Toronto, you think the whole Canada is Toronto. That's not true. Toronto is Toronto. That's it. Everywhere else is different. Maybe
Uh-huh.
Vancouver and
Yeah.
Calgary.
There's like, or
Maybe
Montreal, Quebec, right? There's some
Montreal.
places that
Yeah.
stick out, but yeah.
Yeah, let's not go to Quebec, but Montreal, maybe, if you know some French. So I'm like, I went to Ottawa and that was a shock because people were like, what do you mean? And I'm like, people in Toronto understand me. I'm
Am I
speaking
still in
English.
Canada? What's going on?
What is happening? Why are you being rude? And
Uh,
I remember this girl, she wasn't white. She's Spanish descent or something, but she was born in Canada, right?
yeah.
Second generation. She said, aren't you cold? I love cold. So I want to say I'm wearing, actually, this is one of the words I don't know if I can say, which is layers.
Uh-huh. Perfect. Layers, layers. Yep, perfect.
Layers.
Huh?
Yeah. And I said liars.
I'm wearing liars. They never tell the truth.
No, they don't. She looked at
Mhm.
me, she's like, liar? And I was like, yeah, liars. I was like, I'm wearing this underneath this. And she's like, layers? I was like, yeah.
Yet again, how's the intonation of the person who's correcting? Layer? Or is it, oh, do you mean layers? The intonation can tell you if this person is being
Yes.
kind
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think for me, if you correct me in a, like in a business meeting whatsoever, like when everyone corrected me at the lab, it was embarrassing, but I grew
Yes.
out of it. But if
Mm-hmm.
it's someone that I thought was a friend,
Yeah.
I'm like, hello, how many languages do you speak? Let's just start there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh. Oh,
When
yeah, yeah,
did you
yeah.
learn?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Because I love differences. I don't
Hmm.
mind making mistakes in
Yeah.
languages. Like right now, I'm learning Turkish and Korean together.
Ooh, cool.
Like Turkish is easier because it has some Arabic and
Mm-hmm.
English and Spanish in it.
Some
Even though I don't know
similarities.
Spanish, but
Yeah.
Korean is a new different level.
Yeah, at least Korean, not that I speak Korean, but from what I know, the writing, the script is very transparent, right? It's not like
Yes.
English where the spelling is one thing because it most likely comes from French and it looks nothing like it's supposed to be pronounced,
Mhm.
right? At
It
least
doesn't.
from what I know, Korean is very clear. Like
Yes.
Arabic, right? You see it
Yes.
written, you know how to say it. It's really transparent. So at least you've got that on your side. I don't know about Turkish.
I don't agree on Arabic. I don't agree
No,
on
maybe it
Arabic.
depends.
Yeah, it depends, and also for Arabic, it's always the meaning. When one
Mm.
word have like 10,000 meaning, it could be used
Ah.
in so many places, and also with the dialect. I don't know if you have this in English with the different dialects.
Hmm.
Bad words are different.
Oh, that's very true in Spanish, I'm finding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just bad words are different, and
Hmm.
sometimes you're saying a word, the person is like, Uh-huh. What do you mean? And there's some words that are translated from Arabic, especially in Muslims population. It's translated from Arabic that is used for everyday language, but they're
Right.
not everyday language in my life. And I see hear someone say it, and I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah.
That's a good point. Like it's not just language, it's not just culture, it's the mix, it's personalities, it's intention, it's maybe dialect, it's maybe accent. All this stuff is super, super complicated. And
Language is
yeah,
just
it's hard. It's hard.
it's
Yeah.
a whole world. With a language, you understand people thinking, you understand how they eat, how they enjoy life, then you understand their culture, how they
Yeah.
say I hate you, how they say I love you, how they say I'm sorry, how everything is different in a language.
Yeah.
That's why I love languages.
That's
It's
such a
one of
good
my
sentiment.
dreams to have like five languages or more,
Yeah.
but life happens and
Yeah. But it's
you
never too
start
late.
something.
You're doing two more
No,
right
stop.
now, right?
Yeah,
Life
yeah.
gets in the way, but we keep going, right? It's an ideal that we're definitely
Mhm.
striving for. So what would you say then, with all this background, what would you say are your biggest challenges right now? What brings you here today?
Okay. So I honestly I want to sound clear. Even if I have an accent, I
Mm-hmm.
will own it. I don't mind it as long as you understand the words that are coming
Mm-hmm.
out of my mouth.
Mm.
Does not disturb you in a
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we live in a sensory world and I work with people who have sensory issues and
Yeah.
I know sometimes you would do something with good intentions then it will trigger people no matter
Yeah.
what. And I can't fix everything obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I can try as much as I can, especially if I want to do the podcast. Sometimes I'll be like liking what someone is saying,
Yeah.
but the way they're recording or whatever their sound, not just the accent, I don't mind the
Mm-hmm.
accent.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just the way they're talking or something about the language behind,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone speaks a language. There's a basic thing behind it, where they grew up or this is their second language or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? So
Mm.
for me, like I come with all the culture, with everything I have, and with other backgrounds. Let me tell you a story. My father, for the love of God, cannot say the word student. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm.
in Russian it's a student or
Uh-huh.
something like that. So instead of saying student, he keeps saying student. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
Dad, it's a student. And he goes,
Mm.
is it a student? He does not remember because he has these two mixed. And sometimes he does that. Sometimes language is just
Even now, after all those years, that's a fossilized error, right? So
mm,
what we mean is like his brain thinks it's because that's
yes.
how it learned it. So he has to convince his brain that his brain is wrong and his mouth is wrong, and your brain doesn't want to be told that it's wrong. So correcting those fossilized errors are the hardest thing. That's why the sooner you can check these things out and get a feel for it, the better, because then everything else it
Mm,
comes more easily and you have a good handle. But you never really had that, it sounds like, in school, right? You never had a pronunciation class, let's say, or specific times where you could ask about a certain thing, probably with somebody who really knew. So maybe that's been
mm,
lacking. So right now, if I were
mm,
to ask you, hey, what are your problem sounds that you're having
mm.
trouble working on? Can you give me a list? Can you tell me what sounds are difficult for you?
The difference between the letter B and P, I remember the teachers telling us, she put a small paper in her hand and she said, when you say P, this
Yeah.
paper is supposed to fly because this is we call it the heavy P in
Uh-huh.
Arabic. It has to come with air, like it has to
Yep.
be P. Then we used to call the other one the pregnant bee or the light bee, which is boy, bee boy.
That is super
Because it
cute
has like,
because it looks like the letter B has a little belly and like it's pregnant.
yeah, with like
That's
two
adorable.
bellies.
I love it. I love it. That is
Yeah.
so funny.
So we used to say the light B and the heavy P.
Uh-huh.
And my brother would say, is it B boy or P Paris? And he
P
doesn't even
pregnant.
say P. He's B boy or B Paris.
Yes, yes. So they sound the
There's no
same, but he's
difference between
asking. Oh,
yeah, but
that's
his
so funny.
accent I would say Paris.
Oh,
So
that's
for
so
him
funny.
to know it's one because he knows the spelling only that he can't tell the difference. Like right now I'm paying attention, but if I'm talking to you, let's say my first teaser, I said bunish instead of punish.
I'm going to pause
So
you right there because maybe we'll do the sounds one by one, or maybe we'll make a list and come back. You let me know what works for you. But I can already hear the fact three things are at play
mm,
here. Number one, you hear the difference, right? If
mm,
I did the difference, you could say, oh, that's the one for baby and that's the one for the city in France.
mm,
You can hear the difference. Number two, I know that your brain knows the difference because you're able to describe it, you're able to name it. And then number
mm,
three, I've heard you do both. So what's actually missing here? It sounds like the only thing that's missing is a little correction, maybe. And
mm,
I think you can do that on your own. I've heard you. And then number two, maybe just more awareness, more attention. Maybe this
mm,
happens more when you're sleepy, or maybe this happens more when you're talking really quickly, something like that. So we can say, oh, I have this problem, but what's really the problem? I usually look at, can the person hear the difference? Because if not, that's where we got to start. Number two, do they know? Does their brain know what to do? What are the steps? How do I make this sound? And then number three, can their mouth do it? Can their muscles do it? Then with repetition, we can get to automaticity. So I stop thinking about it so much. It sounds like to me, tell me if I'm wrong, sounds like the problem here is that you're not quite to automaticity. Is that right? You can hear it, you know it, and your mouth can do it, but you're not quite automatic yet. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also,
awesome.
like, I'm someone who gets too excited, or I get into the moment and I
Yeah.
forget other things. Sometimes when I'm doing something,
Yeah.
I'm into it. I cannot focus on two things together. I think for me, it's more like when I speak to people, like with you right now, I'm aware, but like when I speak to someone, like when I did the teaser, and I couldn't go back to do it
Yeah.
because everything else was good. I can just neglect a for just one letter that I said it like twice. I'm like, it's gonna go with the accent.
It's
I
not
don't
worth it.
mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You
authentic
know,
that way. Yeah, absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
authentic that way.
But
Yeah.
but I want to check one thing with you. So it sounds like you don't really need me for P and B. What you really need, it sounds like, is to just remember to, number one, be kind to yourself, because yeah, it's just a mistake. But it's not an error. An error is like there's something missing you don't know or you can't do, right? It's not an error. It's just a mistake. No big deal. But I want to just check something with you. I want to talk about your brain for a second. If I take these sounds and I classify them, you were saying like it's a strong one, it's a little bit different. I want to come back to that. So in both cases, what's the same and what's different? So I have p, p, as in Paris, right? We both have really good microphones. So make a lot of air in your microphone. Go ahead. That is perfect. And I'll tell you why. Because you didn't have any what we call voicing in here. So a P as in Paris and a B as in baby, right? The only difference, it's not your lips. There's no tongue involved. It's not your lips. It's not the amount of air. It's the fact that B as in baby, is voice. So if you put your hand on your throat, I'm saying this for people who are listening to the audio and don't see the video. If you put your hand on your throat and you you should feel vibration there, right?
Yes.
But when you do the city in France, put your finger on your throat, put your fingers on your throat, Paris, Paris, right? So you're doing all of that. I wanted to make sure that your brain knew what you're doing. If you're like, my P sounded a little bit like a B, you might be vibrating a little bit, but there's no in between. It's either on or off. It's either vibrating or not. Remember earlier when you were telling me that the difference between the Sudanese dialect of Arabic and how you don't do the THs, right? Instead, you replace it with S, or you replace it with Z. Same thing. What's the difference? S, Z. 100% the same, 99.9% the same, just the voicing is different. Z. So you don't have a problem with that. You're already doing it. You're doing the thing where you do everything the same except the voicing. Just do that for P and B. Yes. Does that make sense? The thing I think you can remember when you have the mental space for that is just think about the voicing. Yep. No halfway, just on or off voicing. And that's going to be your difference.
I was thinking about
The amount of air, right?
that's how I was taught.
And it's not
right?
really, it's not wrong. But here's the thing. I'm going to do a P like Paris. If I do that paper trick that you were talking about before, if I just put my finger in front of my mouth, I imagine it's somebody's birthday, and I'm blowing out the candles. I can blow out the candle if it's a P. I can feel it on my finger, right? But if I do a B, I don't feel as much air. And the reason is all the energy is going into my throat, into the voicing, and it should. If you're trying to push out too much air for both of them, that means your voicing is going to be not enough. You see what I mean? Because you're trying too hard to do the air, right? Does that make sense? The difference?
Yes. Yes, it
awesome.
does.
Because that was the problem. Like how you were explaining it, I wanted to check that your brain knew. And now that your brain sees those things instead, you can already correct yourself. I've heard you, right? And you can also tell your brother, brother, the same thing, and you can get him to do the same thing. So I think it's safe to say p and b. We can say check, right? Sound good?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So if I do hear you say a p and a b in a wrong way for the rest of today, I'll just correct you, right? And now you know what to do. Now your brain knows how to fix it.
Yeah.
So what else is on the list then besides a p and a b? What else is on your list?
Okay. Next, I think is the L. Let me tell you a word that someone made fun of me for it and was a friend. Here's the story. So I studied neuroscience and mental health. with a minor in psychology. And when I was in this, during like undergrad, I joined a mental health club, and we were advocating to make mental health an actual important topic and reach people to tell them that's it's normal. Take care of your mental health. If you're going through something, some illness, that's okay. Like some of the things that I used to tell people are like, do you tell a diabetic person not to take insulin and just feel fine? You don't do that. Why are you telling someone who has depression or anxiety or whatever kind of like stuff to just let it go and feel happy? They can't feel happy. There's actual mental health, there's hormonal change, just like diabetes, just like any other illness. The term health includes both, right?
Totally.
Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
No,
But
please. And then what happened?
we were at the meeting, we were like all of us together as the club, blah blah blah, and this is a friend, and we were talking about salmon, which I can't pronounce it for the love of God. And the reason, one of the reasons for me are the words, hear this, the words that are similar in the same language. In Arabic we say salamun, that's the name. So when I come to English, my brain does not get it that the L should be like, is it a light L? Is it a silent L? I just pronounce it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you're not the only one, of course. It's not you guys, right? It's the spelling. It's the spelling in English. Why is there an L there? We don't even say it. Maybe people in the past used to say it. Sometimes we have some silent letters that are silent now, but they didn't used to be, right? So this might be one of those cases. But in other languages, like you said, it's what we call like a cognate, meaning it's really close. It probably comes from the same thing, or it's a borrowed word, something like that. And so why wouldn't you pronounce it the same way? It makes sense. Unfortunately, it's just not how we do it. So in this case, you're saying, oh, is it a light L? Is it a silent L? There's another option called a dark L. I don't know if you know that one. So there are 3 options for L's. In this case, ding, ding, we have a winner. There is no L here. You can just take it away. It's completely silent. So isn't that nice? Yes. Let's take the word. I need some fresh air. I'm going to go out for a W-A-L-K. Do I say that L there? Walk, right?
Yeah,
no, right? It's a silent L as well, right? I'm going to call you on the phone and we're going to what? Talk. We're going to talk. Right? Talk. I don't say talk. But in the past, that dark L used to be there. So when you've got like an L and a K, when you've got an L and an M together, you can guess that probably I can just drop this completely. And no one's going to know. Even if you were going to do a dark L there, nobody would know that. So often I bring up dark L's, and you said you didn't know that one. So let's briefly talk about that. So a light L at the beginning of a word, at the beginning of a syllable, for example, la 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 light, right? La 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 love, la 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 la. That's the front of my tongue behind my teeth making that noise. La 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 la, right? At the beginning of a word. La 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 later, for example. Take the other word, example. There's an L at the very end of the syllable, and in this case at the end of the word. So that L sounds different, right? Syllable.
It's like at the back.
Example, you got it. So I like to think of it this way. If the L is at the back of the word, it should also be at the back of my throat. So there are 2 different kinds of L's in English, and sorry to tell anybody who doesn't know this, we also have silent L's. So if you pay attention to L's at the end of the word, then you can start doing those back L's, those dark L's as well, right? In that case.
So do you pronounce the name Laura? Like,
la 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 la.
I can pronounce
light L. I would do light L.
Like
la 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 Laura. La 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 la. La, 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 la. As opposed to, let's say somebody's name was
Paul.
Paul, good one. P-A-U-L, that's my uncle's name. Paul, Paul, and Laura went to the mall.
See?
Yeah.
Laura. Okay.
La 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 la.
I have to pronounce that. On my
good one.
My L's are all la. You know, are coming from the back.
Yes. So that might make some of your L's sound a little bit heavy in that case.
Yes. Yes. And then I remember I was like listening, and I've noticed that there are 2 types of L. I did not know. This is a new discovery, because I was pronouncing all the L at the back. And it's because in Arabic, for L, the name of the letter is lam. Okay? And then that letter, when we pronounce it, sometimes we skip it too. And then what we call it, for example, we have names for it, the sun L and the moon L, because in these 2 words, ash-shams, which means sun, you don't pronounce the L. Do you remember that?
I remember the idea, but I never fully understood it.
We just took to something that are opposite to each other, and the L,
see.
one is pronounced, one is not pronounced. For sun, which is ashams, can you hear it? Ash,
Yeah,
ash.
yeah.
It goes directly to the sh.
Yeah,
sh.
you drop
You
the
just say
L.
ash, you drop the L. For al-qamar, you have to say al. It's from the back.
It's what we would call a dark L in that case.
Yes, yes. And I've never, maybe like just my native language, I did have the difference in how I speak at home or regularly, but I've never understood the. Let's take the word that I cannot pronounce. The first word is vulnerable.
And I can see that there's an L in that word
Yeah.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
Is there
So-
anything else on your list though of sounds first? Before we do words, is there anything
Okay.
else on your list of sounds?
It's probably we talked about that. The TH is a huge thing, the L and R together. And I don't know if that's an accent problem or just a muscle problem in my mouth because I
Hold on.
used to.
L and R together or TH and R together? Or both?
Maybe both. I don't know.
Maybe both.
I've never
Okay, let's
experienced-
write them down.
I never experienced TH and L together.
Okay.
Wait, you unlocked a new fear. Give me a word to pronounce.
Okay,
You unlocked-
number 1, number 2, number
3.
3. TH plus R. 3.
I can do that. 3.
Okay, the value of something you can say is it's WORTH. What's that?
Worth.
Worth. Okay, so that's an R and then a TH. So both of those sound good. No fears anymore. So it must be L's and R's. Let's do an L and then an R, and then we'll do an R followed by an L. So for example, I'm going to start with an L and then an R next. This happens at the end of a word. You're going to have an L, like I'm going to say CALL and then RIGHT. Call right now. Can you put those two together? Call right now.
Call right now?
Say them fast together. Call right now.
Call right now.
Perfect. So L and R together seems fine in that combination. What about the other way around when there's an R and then an L? Like this word you mentioned earlier, another name for the earth is WORLD.
World?
Yes.
World.
There we go.
Good.
So now we've got
World.
an R first and then an L. How does that feel?
Okay. It's hard. I have to focus.
Okay.
You
So
know
it's
what
like
I
the
mean?
B and P. It's not a question of your ear. It's not a question of knowing what to do. It's a question of my mouth doesn't always work because my brain is sometimes elsewhere, right?
Oh, yeah. How do I reach that point? I used to think it's just you practice more, eventually you will get there, right? And I need to stop translating in my head. I need to speak, I need to think English. And that's
Yes.
what I do. So now I even feel and write in English because I lived
Awesome.
here for so long. But still, like I'm going through this. For example, another sound is the S sound. I think I pronounce it, which I don't know when you hear this. I hear so much air, and I'm not sure if that's a pronunciation problem or just how my teeth are, or
S like a snake?
like a snake. Yeah, it's instead of like when I hear other people saying it, it doesn't have that annoying stit.
It's funny you should mention annoying because there is a problem that some people have. And even then, it's not a problem. Sometimes it's a choice. Sometimes it's a way of speaking. But sometimes people don't want to do it and they do it and that's a problem. So it's called hypersibilant. So anything that's a sibilant sound, it's like an S kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you a model of a mouth. This is our mouth, our big mouth. I'm going to open it up now. Think about your own mouth. And when you do an S sound, where's the friction? Is it more on the teeth? Is it more on that bump? Is it behind the bump? When you make an S, where exactly is your tongue close to touching?
It's not touching.
It shouldn't be
That's your
touching, but where's it close to? Is it close to the teeth? Is it close to the bump? Is it behind the bump?
Behind the bump.
Behind the bump. Ooh, behind the
wait.
bump.
Wait, no, wait. The pump?
Yeah.
I don't know what's
This
what
bump
is the
right here.
bump. Wait a second. Oh, okay.
Also called the
It's
ridge.
close to the bump.
Close to the bump.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where
Yeah, over here.
that's where it
Okay.
should be. Let's try an exercise here. We're going to take our S and we're going to put our tongue right up in the front of our teeth and then we're going to slide it back and see how that feels. So I'll do it first. I'll model. I'm going to start in the very, very front. You might even hear like a whistling sound. That's called hypersibilant. So try to pull
Yes.
your tongue back as you're doing that friction. There's a point that's too far forward and it feels weird, and there's a point that's too far back and it feels weird, right? So to me, your S's sound fine, and you've already confirmed that they're in the right place. You're doing them in the right place, and you might feel like, oh, I'm pushing out too much air, like it's too strong. It's a possibility, but usually the other problem exists where somebody's not pushing out enough air. Remember we did the paper trick or the finger trick where you can feel it?
Yes.
So put your finger down a little bit lower, not up high, but down a little bit lower towards your chin, and see if you can feel some air, because the angle goes down when we did that. Can you feel a little bit of air there?
In my finger?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so maybe move your finger around too. You might not be hitting that spot. It could be that you're not pushing out enough air. It's not that it's too much. You should feel a little bit of air, but not like a big force.
I feel it here.
Okay. Oh, there we go. As long as you're feeling it. Now you got it?
Feel it.
Down there. So if you're feeling some air on your finger and it's down by your chin, it's probably perfectly fine. And for me, with the microphone, it sounds really good. So if you feel like it's weird later, just number one, feel where's your tongue. And we've already said it's probably in the right position. And feel how much air you're pushing out. And you can control those two factors for your S's. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And keep in mind the S and Z thing we said earlier, where there's S, unvoiced, no vibration here, and then there's Z, zzz. So it should be very strongly voiced or not voiced at all, nothing in the middle. Because as we said with PMB, it's going to take away the energy of the air. You know what I mean?
Yes. So LS, those are the sounds.
Woohoo!
I actually have something. It's the ED and the S at the end of the word.
Oh no.
You know how you say, what's the word?
I think I know what you're referring to, because it's not just you. Again, it's English. So let's take the ending of a word. Let's say I lifted some heavy boxes because I was helping my friend move today. And what hurts? My BACK. How do I say that?
My back?
BACK, right? What's the plural of that?
Backs.
Backs. S like a snake, right?
Backs.
Now, I went shopping and I carried home all my groceries in a BAG. In many BAGS. How would I say that?
Bags.
That one should be voiced. Gz, gz. Bags. 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 So I think that's what you're talking about, right? When is a final S like a snake, and when is it Z like a zebra? Is that correct? That's the problem? Okay, and the same problem exists for most people with an ED ending, because sometimes that ED ending is more like I'm thirsty and I'd like some tea.
What?
Or da, right? Just like P and B, da. Let's take that ED example, and let's take two verbs in the past. They could be verbs, they could be adjectives. Yesterday, I went for a walk. What did I do? I walked. No voicing there. Versus, I have a dog, and that dog sometimes wags his tail. Yesterday, he wagged his tail.
Okay.
So when is this ED t, and when is this ED d? Right? Is that kind of where this problem lies for you?
Yeah. For me, it comes natural to choose between the two. I just wing it. Because I've always been taught it's id.
But that's not true. That is not true.
Because we just took the path. It was like a irregular verb. To prove that we know, we would see walked.
To be really clear, right? You would over-enunciate it, perhaps.
Yeah, we overpronunciate it so the teacher knows that we know it's walk.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah, for us, look, students, look, we're in grade 5 or 6, so we need to work hard.
Now you got to go back and fix that mistake, because you did it for a good reason, but now you're like, but that's not actually correct. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to talk more about this specific thing because it's a whole can of worms, and we can get into this either in a whole nother episode of the podcast, because I think it's important, and I know it's pretty late for you right now. So let's put that on the shelf. Let's put it in our pocket for next time.
Let's do it.
Let's definitely talk about that, because there is a way to know. And I have also a really nice poster that I can give you to summarize that. So let's take that and let's talk about that another time. Is that okay? Awesome.
Totally fine with me.
Awesome. Okay. So you've got a whole list of words. One of them or two of them you already mentioned. And I'm going to do something that if people are listening to the audio, they're not going to see this, but I'm going to change the screen now to show, for anyone who's watching this on a video, you can see that I am writing down notes for you in an app, and it's called the Phonetic Markup App. It's an app that I had made a couple of years ago by some students who were learning to make apps, and it's fantastic. Anybody can use this. It's totally for free. So if you're watching the video version of this, you can see it. And if you're just listening to the audio version of the podcast, this might not make so much sense to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the words that Sabreen has. She said they're already difficult for her, and I'm going to copy them and put them on the app. You'll only see this if you're doing the video version. but just to know that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to copy all these words, and then we're going to go through them one by one, because I know that these are important words for you. So you can see that, right? That's big enough for you to see?
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear you say these words 3 times each. I'm going to highlight one word. I want to hear you say it first, and I want to see if I can find out the problem so that we can fix the problem. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, 3 times this word.
Okay. Adolescence, adolescence, adolescence.
Ah, okay, so the second one was the closest, right? So first of
Yeah.
all, let's think about syllable stress. Da da
Okay.
da da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adolescence. 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 So I need to stress that syllable. It has to pop out more. That's number 1.
Okay.
And so say it again for me.
Adolescence.
See, that's really good. There's only one more thing I want to correct, and that's this vowel right here. And it's letter O, but I want to say the sound. Adolescence.
Adolescence.
I know it's letter O, but make it sound like And adolescence. Yeah. There's some variety there. In fact, I'm going to show IPA, right? Now, here, they're doing it not what I'm describing. They're doing something a little more difficult, which if you can do is great. Look, there's no vowel, according to the dictionary, there's no vowel between the D and the L, but that's a difficult combination. Let's try it. Dul, dul,
Dul,
dul,
dul,
dul, with
dul,
no vowel
dul.
between them. That's not easy.
Dull.
So to make that easier, we can say dull. Can you hear how the second one is a little bit longer and a little bit easier?
Can you do it again?
Yep. The first way is the way the dictionary is writing it, which is with a difficult consonant cluster. There's no vowel between the D and L. Sounds like this. Dull, 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 dull. Right? They're as close together as you can make them. I'm saying if that's difficult for you, then stick a little vowel in there. We call it schwa. Adol. Dull, dull. Yeah, can you hear that? Adol. Adolescent, the difficult way, or adolescence. Adolescence.
Can I try? Adolescence.
There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that's the way that I would.
Adolescence.
Yeah, that's the way I would do it.
Adolescence.
Adolescence. So that's why I'm going to put this thing here. Dada. Adolescence. 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 So the next word on your list is almost the same, but it's the adjective instead of the noun. Take a guess at that one.
Adolescent.
Perfect, perfect. Exactly the same syllable stress, which is not always the case when you switch from like a noun to an adjective. But here it is, right? Adolescence, adolescent. So there we go. And is this something you use for work?
I don't use it for works, no, but I used to use it when I was in neuroscience, and I avoided it all the stages. It's like, I'm not going to do this.
I'll just say teenager instead. Yes.
Yeah, I used to say teenager, but I really wanted, and one time I was describing it to someone, and I was so lost, I was like, it's okay. Let's just skip this conversation because I cannot pronounce a word. Sometimes when I can't pronounce the words, because I am a visual person, if I cannot pronounce the word, I cannot spell it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And spelling is so tricky in English. You're lucky that you have that skill. A lot of people don't, and it's doubly hard, right? Really difficult. Yeah. So far, so good. You can see how we're doing this now, right? We're seeing what the problem is. It sounds like you have no problem with the ear. You have no problem so far with anything that I'm saying. It sounds like it's just repetition. You need repetition. You need a little correction, which is what you're getting right now. And then you can go back. You're going to have these notes, and you'll be able to do these. I'm gonna delete that because those are double.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with this other word right here. Give that a try.
Okay. Vulnerable.
And where's the syllable that's supposed to be stressed? There's 4 syllables.
I think it's the first. No, it's not the first one.
You're right. It's the first one. Da 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 da. Da da da. Vulnerable. Yep. Just make it pop a little bit more. Vulnerable. Yep, there you go. And here's another consonant cluster.
Do I pronounce the L?
Okay. Here's what we were talking about earlier, right? We said, I don't say salmon, right? I say salmon. I drop it completely. Here's one of the ones where it's not dropped completely by most people still, but it's what we would call that dark L. So if you can get it in there, it's fine. Vulnerable. So my tongue is going to go back for that dark L and then forward for the N.
Okay. So vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Nice and slow.
See, the problem is transitioning for me from the L to neurable.
So let's break it down.
See? Vulnerable.
Yep. There we go. But go nice and slow. Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
There we go. Vulnerable. 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 Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
There you go.
Vulnerable. I have to do it a couple of times. Vulnerable.
There you go.
Vulnerable.
There you go. Look how I made 4
Vulnerable.
syllables here. 1, 2,
Yes.
3, 4. Vulnerable. There
Okay.
you go.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, there you go. Keep the vul as one. Keep the
Vol.
ner as the second.
So when it is
Gives,
stressed, you
yep.
mean my voice is higher on this one, right?
It's stresses 3 things. It's
Okay.
higher, meaning
Mm.
volume, and pitch. So vulnerable. Vulnerable. I'm overdoing it.
Vulnerable.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're going to use your pitch, you're going to use your volume, and another thing is you're going to use your duration. So it's going to be actually longer in like milliseconds, right? Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
There we
Is
go.
that correct?
All syllable stress.
Vulnerable.
Overdo it.
I'm doing it.
Adolescence.
Vulnerable.
Adolescent. Vulnerable.
Adolescent. Okay, adolescent.
So your syllable stress can always be stronger there. Exactly. So now you got this. Tell me, your turn. Tell me in this word, Prejudice, how many syllables, where's the stress, and give it a try saying it.
So prejudice.
So you're going for the last syllable. Try a different syllable.
Prejudice.
There you go. First syllable. Da 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 da.
Prejudice.
There you go. Prejudice.
Or
prejudice.
This. Okay. Prejudice.
There you go. Prejudice. I'm gonna also write these vowels. So the vowels are e, I. E, I. Prejudice.
Prejudice.
There you go. J. And I know you might not know these symbols that I'm writing. They're called IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. But for vowels, if somebody has trouble.
I said one of our English teachers in university has like a master's in this or something.
Oh, really love it. I love the IPA. It's not for everybody, but it's very specific and it's very helpful. So I'm gonna write it down, and you don't have to know it. There you go.
Yeah. So it's prejudice.
There you go. As in juice. So I'm gonna mark that too with just a red color, so we remember that. I can
pronounce choose too. How do I pronounce choose? I just remember that someone.
I'm going to add that to the list. Hold on, let me write it down. Juice. For example, the first month of the year, January. So you're going to actually take your zh, like television, and first you're going to put like a D in front of it. Right? For example, you're going to sneeze. Achoo. Achoo. Take that achoo and add your voicing. A Jew. It's not the same, but it works, right?
Is it j like this?
Put your hand on your throat and make sure you're voicing and make it explode. There you go. You got a lot of. I want you to stop it first. Take a breath. Stop it and make it explode. So look at the symbol, and you don't have to know it, but look at the symbol television. That's all friction, right? So no problem with that. Just like you do it's all friction, right? This one, look at the symbol now. It looks like a little, kind of like a Z, but with a D in front of it. So think of a D first. Juice.
Juice.
Yes, exactly.
Like
yes,
juice.
You got juice. You have to stop it and then let it go. Let the friction go. You got it. So that's the same one we have here. Prejudice. So many people might not know the difference if you said the prejudice. They might not notice, but I notice. It's prejudice. Prejudice.
Okay.
Prejudice. You got it. Yes. Now you're moving right ahead here. Juice. It's exactly like as in make a choice.
That's the problem. I'm pronouncing it as choose. It's not choose. I know it's a different pronunciation.
And you already know the difference, right? So the first one, January, juice. I'm gonna wear some jeans. Those are voiced. So put your hand on your throat. Feel the vibration. Here, I don't want any vibration. Chocolate. Choice. No voicing, no vibration in your throat. That's the only difference. And that looks like this one. Choice. So it's kind of like saying, shh, be quiet, but a little T in front of it.
It's like shh.
Exactly.
Like that? Choice.
You got it.
Choose.
Now that's perfect. Yep. So what's the only difference? Just in the voicing. And now you've got both of them. And that's a really difficult combination. So that's awesome. That's super, super awesome.
Look at this. We just found this out.
I know. This is what happens all the time, right? You start with one question and you end up with 62 other questions.
I
And I
am
love it.
happy because I was thinking all the time, I know I have more things, but I'm not sure which ones.
Yeah, and you're making those connections and you say, oh,
Yeah.
but what about this? And then there's also this other thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that always happens. And I love that because you're really thinking about it. And when you make those connections, it's more memorable. You know what I mean? Like you're going to
True.
remember
That's
this for
true.
sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very nice. Moving along. You're doing great. Let's have a couple more.
So dialects,
Oh,
I'm not sure.
syllable stress. Let's try it on the first syllable.
Dialects, I don't
Da
know.
da da. Da da.
Dialects.
There you go. Dialects. Dialects.
Dialects.
There we go. Dialects. Dialects. Three
Dialects.
syllables. Let's cut it up this way.
Di
Dialects.
dialects.
Perfect. Dialects.
Dialects.
Dialects. I think you were trying to
Dialects.
squish it down to two, which
Uh,
some people do, I have to say. Dialects. Some people do that, but it's unnecessary, and a lot of people do it in three. So just do it in three. Dialects. That's how I do it.
dialects.
Dialects.
Okay.
Dialects. Yep. Give that
Dialects.
one space to breathe. That center syllable, give it its own space. Dialects. Dialects.
Okay,
Does that
I'm
make
gonna try.
sense?
Dialects.
There you go. A little stronger on the first syllable.
Dialects.
There we go. You
Dialects.
got it. Your syllable stress is sounding really good.
The
This you
second
got.
word is sophisticated.
Let me say these words for people who are listening to the audio only and can't see what we're typing here. I'm going to say these two together because it sounds like you're really close, right? So the first one is three syllables. The second one is
Suffocate.
five. Ready? So first one, da da da, suffocate.
Suffocate.
Perfect. Suffocate,
Suffocate.
meaning I can't breathe. Yes. Next one. This one has
Suffocate.
five syllables. So I'm going to do the syllable stress on the second one. So it sounds like this. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Sophisticated.
Yes, there you go. Sophisticated. Yep. Raise your pitch. Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
Perfect. That's what I'm talking about. Sophisticated.
Okay.
Now let's do them both. Suffocate, sophisticated.
Suffocate. Sophisticated.
Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. So let's end on this one because this is a good one, and I'll tell you why. It's got double L's. The spelling is, I'm telling for people who are listening to the audio, Roller. But let's break that down. Let's say Roll first of all, and give me that dark L. Say Roll for me.
Roll.
Okay, I want O. Guess what? It's my birthday. You're surprised. O.
Oh.
Really?
I like
Row your boat. Row.
Oh, it's like that. Roll.
There we go. Roll. Now add ER at the end. Roller.
Roller.
Take your time. That's 2, 3 sounds right there. Row. Let your jaw go up and down. Roller. There you go. Yes. When there's more than one vowel, we call it a diphthong. That means, or triphthong. That means 2 or 3 vowels in a row. And some people like to smash them and reduce them way too much, but we want to give them space, right?
Roller.
Roller. Exactly, roller. And I imagine, is this about roller skates or was that something else?
It was about roller coasters.
Oh, even better. Roller coasters. Look, that word has both O. Coaster. Roller coaster. Nice. Do you like roller coasters?
Used to.
You used to. Was there a bad experience there? Did something happen?
One of my favorite things in the world. And then I was writing the story
Wait,
back.
favorite things in the what? One of your most favorite things in the
world.
Nice.
World.
Good one.
Thank you for catching that. So I was writing the story bank for assignment, the exercise. And then I remember the memory in Yemen. Because Yemen is a country where everyone thinks it's mountains, but it actually has mountains and has green lands. Right? Very, very beautiful country. And I remember when we travel, we do road trips in the mountain. It was up and high. So I was writing it just like roller coaster, right? So because I couldn't pronounce it, I was like trying to find the spelling because I have to pronounce it for me to spell it. It's like this when this happens, it annoys me. So I was like, I looked it up, blah blah blah, and then earlier when I was like revising the words, I remembered this, so I wrote it down.
Nice. And since you mentioned it, I want to tell you like 2 quick things before we say goodbye today. Let me show you my screen again. And 2 things. Number 1, I want you and anybody else to use this app that we have. And it's free for everybody to use. You can mark things up in a way that's visual for you. And that's why I call it the Phonetic markup, because there's all these tools on the side. You can add a vowel, you can do consonants, right? You could do syllable stress, all these things we did, plus much more. You can do intonation, word stress, all that stuff. You can copy and paste something that you like into here and really work on how you pronounce things, because so many of us are very visual. That's number one. I'm going to send you that link. Number two, I'm going to go back to the dictionary, and I'm going to move our faces to the side here so people in the video can see better. And whenever you look up a word, anytime you look up a word at dictionary.com, I like dictionary.com, but use whatever dictionary you want. Let's say, let's do an easier one. The kind of pasta that many people have with a red sauce, right? We borrowed this word, and I might say, well, how do Americans say this? Any word I look up in the dictionary, in this case, it's spagetti. How do I say that in American English, right? I always want to check the IPA we mentioned before, right? So use the dictionary, press show IPA, look up the word, and get to know some of those symbols that are helpful to you. That's all. So remember this one we did earlier, the sound, it looks like a rotated E. So it's spaghetti. And for you, because you're working on syllable stress, look for this little dash right before the syllable. That means that's the stressed syllable. Yeah, so I think with these two things, you're going to be able to visualize a lot of these words, look them up, but only because you want the pronunciation. You want the IPA, right? And once you know a couple of those symbols, like the J that we talked about, for example, let's think of a word. I'm going to write a word, MANAGE. Maybe you're like, oh, how do I say that? I've been saying it wrong. Remember to click show IPA. It's in blue. And look at that symbol right there. We've already worked on that. Manage. It's not just zh, but it's j. It's not sh. So you're going to get to know some of these problem sounds that you have, and then you're going to find them, right, in that way. So I think these are two kind of helpful tips I think I can leave you with. So now I want to start to say, number one, what do you think was the most useful thing for you today? And then number two, is there anything else that I can do for you today?
Honestly, the way you explained the sounds just make so much sense in my head, and how you like wrote it down, and like the vibration at the end of the tongue. It just, no one ever, like, I want to tell you I wish you were my teacher, because I had a teacher, and this is like a very sad story. See, I before I moved to UAE, I used to be hosting kids shows, and I'm always like a host somewhere. And because this is my language, I was like, and this is the accent, I was in my element. I was used to it, and everything was like, wow, you're amazing. And I have this, some people know how to play with their voice and act it. And I have that. And I always wanted to be like a voice actor or something like that. And I love reading poems. And I used to be my thing until I met this teacher. And I proudly stood to like read a poem. And she was like, I don't know what to tell you. Was so bad. And it was like a shock. It was a shock in front of all class. And she kept repeating this every time. And you know what? I have a thicker skin. But that teacher, like, I think it was a colorism, racism situation too.
Oh, no.
So I would stand up every time to read the poem. I would stand up every time to read the passage.
Yeah.
Instead of giving me, I don't know what's called, critical.
A critique, maybe?
Something like to tell me, what am I pronouncing wrong?
Yeah.
Because I would be confused. What are the things I'm doing wrong? You need to tell me, right? Right now you are telling me, Sabreen, this is the where you go high on sound. Like when I asked you, what do you mean by stressing? Because I didn't know what stressing is. And you told me. With her, she would be like, this is horrible. I'm like, tell me what's horrible. I was like, how old? I was 14 or 15. So that just affected my life.
I bet.
And I think I've stopped like hosting. I've stopped all of that because I thought I don't have, that was my language. We were talking about Arabic language, but because in Sudan we don't pronounce a lot of words. We do it different than everyone thinks. It's come also from colorism, right? Because most people don't know this. They speak Arabic, right? So yeah, that just somehow changed it, how my life is going. So you flip that, and that's powerful.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Because you just showed me I can do it. There's a way in my mouth, or like how the words are coming out, or like you're showing me this, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing it like how she's doing it. So it's not a hopeless case. I can do it. Not something is wrong with me. It's just how I was taught it. Thank you so much. That was like, I didn't know what to expect. I'm an adventurer. Am I saying
adventurer? Yeah, adventurer. Yes.
So I just go and do things and wish for the best. And this was beyond what I expect. Mind blowing. So thank you so much.
High five. You did great. You came prepared. You said, I have these issues. I want to work on these. And that's exactly what we did. I love it when people already have a list, right? And like we said, we're going to jump off that list and we're going to go off on tangents, and all of that is fine. And at the end of the day, what I want is for you to realize that you can do this. Most of it's just mechanical. And the fact that you were never taught, right? So you're probably missing some information in your brain, right? I can tell you hear it. I can see that you can do it sometimes, just not always. So now you know how to correct it yourself. And then you're just going to keep doing it the right way now. And that's great. That's what I wanted for you today. So if you have any other questions, any other thoughts, if I forgot anything, just send me a quick email, send me a message, and we'll always keep in contact. And every month, at the end of the month, I have a free workshop. So if there's anybody you know, because I know Toronto is a very multicultural city, if you know anybody who can benefit from that thing, every month I do a specific sound. So at the end of the month, I'm going to have a free workshop. So you're welcome to come. Anybody can come.
Yeah, let's end. Yes. And
Perfect.
I also maybe I'll invite you to my podcast if you
love totally. Yeah, you got to get me on
I'll
there.
send you the link and everything.
Definitely.
I love this. I wish to come here again with improvements.
Perfect.
And to go over things, right?
Yeah, we can keep the same list and then we can go over it again and see if you can go right through it and get all those and add to the list maybe. Yeah, so always keep a list. And also, by the way, for you and anybody else who's listening, I always have free office hours every Wednesday. Anybody can come and ask me a question. The only trick to that is that you have to be a part of my community and my Discord server. It's free, but you have to join. So if you've got a running list of words or just questions or things that are on your mind, you can come and ask and join the community and hang out with all of the people who like this kind of stuff. I think you might like it.
Thank you so much. I would love it. You have no idea what you're doing. It's going to change lives. You'll never know.
So
it
sweet.
will.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. So we'll plan another session soon to do those ending words. And in the meantime, I'm going to send you those links so that you can come join my community, so you can come to the free workshops and pass those along to anybody who you think might find that useful. Sound good?
Yeah,
awesome.
Sounds good.
All right. So good to see you. So good to meet you. And I will see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye, Sabreen. See you soon.
Bye, Bianca.
Bye.
Bye.
If you found this episode helpful in any way, please subscribe and leave a review. It's actually really helpful to me. Now, before I go, I have 2 tasks for you to do. First, I want you to register and come to my free monthly masterclass. They're on the last Thursday of the month. In just 1 hour, you're going to master a specific American accent skill. For example, the TH sound or rhythm. The Zoom registration link actually changes each month. So the second and maybe more important thing I want to ask you to do is to sign up for my mailing list, because you're going to get the registration link each month and you're going to get bonus materials before and after the masterclass that I only send to my email list subscribers. The email opt-in link is down in the show notes. Be sure to sign up for my mailing list and come to the monthly masterclass for free. I'm Bianca, your personal American accent coach, and I want you to know that your voice is your choice. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the show. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.